Welcome back to my channel. So, knocking out the videos today, hopefully. So, I want to try to make this as quick as possible. I wanted to share some of the things I have gotten over the course of the last few weeks, and by last few weeks I mean over the last maybe 3 weeks, maybe even 4. But some of them I got this weekend, actually. My mom and my sister came to visit for a week, and anytime my mom comes to visit, my husband and I get to go out on a date. We get to go to a movie, and she'd watch my eldest daughter, but now that I have 2, she and my sister watched the both of them, and she wanted us to basically take the day out. So that's what we did. We took the day out, and one of the things we did is we went to Half Price Books. Hi, baby girl. Hi. One of the things we did was we went to Half Price Books, which we haven't been to in quite some time. Ever since I got pregnant, I've just been so tired, and I don't feel like having to corral a 5-year-old, because anytime we bring her, you have to corral her. We take turns, I'll watch her so he can look around, and then he'll watch her so I can look around. And then we let her look around so she can get a book. But what I got were about 3 books. And I'm just going to start off with The Complete Illustrated Encyclopedia of Witchcraft and Practical Magic. And I paid $7.99 for this one. And to be quite honest, I could not remember if I had purchased this book or not before. Most of my books are still in the garage in boxes. While I just don't know where I would put, all these books. Plus, we had to leave our bookcases behind that we had in the computer room because those had gotten damaged as well. So we left those behind, and yeah, of course, and sneeze. So I don't know if I have this one or not. If I do, oh well, maybe then I'll give one to somebody I know. But I got this because I felt that this is a good jumping off point if you are interested in witchcraft, paganism, Wicca, other branches of paganism, I think even alchemy, things like that. There's information about it in this book. This is by no means an in-depth book into any one thing. I think what is good about this book, why it would be a good resource, is because it gives you a springboard to take an idea, something that interests you in here, and then further do research. So there's things like, okay, it discusses about Wicca and witchcraft. It has like brief information about, let's say, the people involved in the movement, like Alex Sanders and Dorian Valiente and Gerald Gardner and people like that. It talks about Raymond Buckland. It discusses hereditary witchcraft, feminist witchcraft, which there's quite a few things about that in here. Has Western mysteries, Western shamanism, the origins of magic, African witchcraft, classical witches, the classical world, and there's plenty of pictures in here. Voodoo rituals and beliefs. So here's some pictures. Let's see what else is there. There's the information on Satanism. If you were interested in that. I don't know if I mentioned the origins of magic, monotheism and mysticism. So now you'll be moving into stuff about Christianity, magic and myth, sacred places. It discusses magical tools. So here's something about altars and shrines, and you'll see like pictures of examples of that. It also had information on candles, the elements, so basically information about correspondences, the seasons, then there is, there's a banishing ritual, the power of rituals, it goes over, spell weaving it discusses, so spells for psychic help, good fortune spells, spells for friendship. Then there's information on different kinds of altars, like outdoor altars or doing your own personal altars at home, even in the workplace. Then there's information on like working on yourself, so basically magic in daily life. What else? Magic is medicine, and so it does discuss the chakras and things like that, and colors and crystals, gardens. Then it also discusses divination, so there's information about runes and tarot and dowsing and things like that. So I think this is a good jumping off book. There's a lot of information in here, a lot of things to, let's say, wet your palate, and then you can go on and find out more information about that, but at least it's something where you can start at some point. The next book, and again this is similar to that in that it's not an in-depth book by no means, but a good jumping off point. The next book is the Book of Alchemy by Frances Melville, and I paid $4.99 for this, and I don't know the original price for either of these books because it's not on the cover, and I did not look it up. But I also was interested in learning about alchemy. The other book also has information about chaos magic as well, which was something that I was interested in reading up on because I know very little about it. So I feel that information is power. The more you know, the better off you are, the better off you are able to help yourself and others, and to grow and to help others grow. I think lack of information is what does the most harm and causes the most fear. A lot of people who don't understand paganism and its various branches and offshoots of paganism, or whatever faiths or beliefs fall under the pagan umbrella, a lot of that stems from a lack of information. And a lot of people, they go by what they were taught growing up, that it was evil and this and that, but they don't take the time to learn about it. And I feel that we owe it to ourselves to take the time to learn about different things. Go out of your comfort zone, even if it's something that you typically would not be interested in, or you may even hold like a secret fear of, or on some level. We owe it to ourselves to conquer those fears, or try to push past those fears and learn more. And in the learning, we'll hopefully learn that this may not be what we thought it was, or whatever. And I'm really big on wanting my daughters to have that kind of perception of things. I want them to know that it is up to them to learn for themselves. I'm here to guide them, and I'm here to instruct them as best as I can, but ultimately they need to find out things on their own, and what is best serves them, and what's better for them. So that's why I don't want to just teach them about what I believe, but I also want them to learn about different religions around the world. That's that. But anyway, so this book discusses briefly, it just talks about alchemy. So there's little information, like in the introduction of the book, it briefly talks about things like the Philosopher's Stone, exploring the mysteries of alchemy, symbolism in alchemy. Then there's like the brief history of alchemy. So it talks about Hermes Trismegistus. I'm pretty certain I'm saying that wrong. Although I've heard the name, I don't even know how many times. Reading it, I have issues with it, I guess. So under Hermes Trismegistus, there's a brief information about Thoth, the Egyptian Hermes, the Hermetica, and the Emerald Tablet. And then you get into things like Islamic alchemy. And this too has pictures. It discusses gold and alchemy. The person. Alchemy and psychology, and so on and so forth. The divine principle, and then it discusses about as above, so below, which is a very important part of witchcraft, and also within faith and other pagan faiths. So this is a very good starting point. I feel it discusses some of the planets and the correspondences of those planets. So I feel this is a very good starting point in learning about alchemy. The next book I got, and this is the last book I got from Half Price Books, is The Passion of Isis and Osiris, A Gateway to Transcendent Love. And I paid $9.49 for this one, and the regular price was $19. And I'll just read off quickly the back cover. It says, in The Passion of Isis and Osiris, Jean Houston, I say Houston because that's how we pronounce North and South Houston in New York. Anyways, whatever. That would be NoHo and Soho. Anyway, let's see, where was I? Takes us deep into the mysteries of Egypt, land of the ancient soul within us all. Houston brings this world to wonderful life, showing how the myth of Isis and Osiris gives modern readers a design for marriage of body and soul, life and death, the tangible and the hidden. In detailed exercises and dramatic enactments that can be done in groups or alone, she demonstrates how we can identify the Isis and Osiris that are seeking reunion in each of us. The Passion of Isis and Osiris recreates nothing less than a moment of Egyptian magic that allows us to enter a consciousness that is the gateway to transcendent love. This story of two spiritual soulmates still has resonance for us today, whether we are seeking to join the disparate parts of self or searching for a mate to bond with, soul to soul. So yeah, I thought this would be an interesting read. Briefly, some of the things that they talk about in the table of contents. There's a section that talks about how to use this book. So it has information on instructions for the solo journeyer. So if you're doing this by yourself, there's information on if you're doing it as a group, information on keeping a journal, and so on and so forth. And then it's broken down into 3 parts. And the first part is the myth of Isis and Osiris. So it discusses the marriage of Isis and Osiris, their son Horus, and then the battle between light and shadow, which I'm assuming is Horus's battle with Set. Then the second part is Egypt, land of the ancient soul, and then some of the things that's discussed in there is mythic and historic time space, background for the stories of Osiris and Isis, the Natirs, agents of creation, and part 3 is the passion play of Isis and Osiris, a journey of transformation. So some of the things in there is the entrapment in life, and mourning the lost beloved. the process, it has some like processes. So the process of mourning a beloved. There's the Osirian mysteries, and there's 2 parts to that. Then there is information on the way of the 5 bodies. So training in the depths is part of the process that it has. And then there's the war in heaven, and then the marriage of body and soul. And then in the appendix there's like an alphabetical list of the Netzias of ancient Egypt, maps, the map of ancient Egypt, kings and queens in ancient Egypt, and festival calendars of ancient Egyptians, and the glossary of words, phrases, and place names. So I thought this would be an interesting read. So again, this is The Passion of Isis and Osiris, a gateway to transcendent love. When I'll find time to read these books with a newborn, I have no idea, but you know, I'll do what I can. Now, I have a book that my mom bought for me, and it's called The Shamanic Experience, and I think this is actually the 2nd book. There's one that's called the Shamanic, I think it's the Shamanic Spirit. However, I got this from Barnes & Noble, so they didn't have that one. They just had this one. And there's a CD in the back with drum music. And I got a little postcard back there. You got a free catalog, look at that. Anyways, I digress. So, this book, it says, it includes a 47-minute drumming CD. Shamanic Experiences offers a unique opportunity for the Western reader to discover and explore the infinite mystical universe within themselves and nature. Motivated by the spirit rather than the intellect, shamanism extends one's conscious awareness and awakens dormant potential for spiritual wisdom, healing, and personal growth. Using an experimental learning program based on the distillation of shamanic wisdom from cultures and traditions around the world, Kenneth Meadows presents 19 practical exercises that allows the reader to discover their aura, develop shamanic breath, energize power centers, develop relationships with power animals, and engage in a vision quest. The lessons of shamanic experience culminate with a trance state journey induced by the rhythmic drumming sessions recorded on the accompanying CD. So I thought this would be interesting to read. I'll give you a quick peek at the table of contents. So here's some of the things I'm going to discuss in this book. Now, the next book, and I was debating if I should put it in this one or the next video that I'm going to do, but the next book is, and I got this a while ago, I haven't read it yet, The Dark Goddess Dancing with the Shadow. It's by Marcia Stark and Jean, I assume that's Jean Stern. I assume that says Jean. It's a very thin book. And the previous book was by Kenneth Meadows, by the way, if I did not say. This is a pretty thin book. But is there a little brief something on it? The Dark Goddess is an essential work and these are quotes really on the back of the book, but The Dark Goddess is an essential work and is vital reading for anyone who cares about our world and our shadow selves. Stark and Stern mix inspired investigation and distilled sourcing with personal story. This book is an outstanding contribution to feminist biographies. Wow. Deep mythology by wise women of a neglected archetype, captivating and healing. The next quote says, "The shadows are sharply defined in our time, yet many avert their eyes altogether. In sorrow and at peril, they deny the shadows to themselves and the world. The Dark Goddess, Marcia Stark and Jean Stern direct our attention to these much misunderstood mysteries, applying lifetimes of healing power and insight." And I got this book because this year I am going to be doing shadow work, and I thought this would be a very good book to work with in doing that. And I'll tell you, the table of contents, you will be dealing with or connecting with dark goddesses. So she has here Lilith, getting in touch with our wildness; Inanna, the heroine's journey; Pele, transforming our anger; Medusa, seeing the hidden face in the mirror; Kali, meeting the terrible mother; Sekhmet, escaping from feelings; Hecate, accepting dissolution and change; and then the triple goddess, working with the shadow. And then there's a conclusion and bibliography. And so I thought this would be a very good book to use, to work with. So not only are you dealing with working on your shadow self, but working with these dark goddesses that I think when people hear about dark gods and dark goddesses, there is a fear attached to that. I know for myself, personally speaking, there definitely is a fear of that. For me, I always fear in working with them, there's some kind of penalty or price to pay that you may not want to pay. I'm already familiar with the goddess Kali. I did a video on her last year sometime, and I have done a working with her, which was very helpful to me. And it was, bless you, it was basically to help me get over or to work on bad habits, or more like, I guess, addictions. Like for me, I have huge shopping addiction, which is something that I'm working on. And for a time, actually, after I did that ritual, it really did help a lot in that it was better under control. I'm not saying it's way out of control like it was before. It's not, but there's definitely more work that I can do. And again, that stems from whatever I need to work on. One of the reasons why I want to do this shadow work, which I'll talk about in another video. And then well, not the last thing. I also got this tarot deck, The Hidden Path, by Raven Grimassi and Stephanie Taylor, and I have the Well-Worn Path, and you can use both of these in conjunction with each other. Like many, what they'll do is they'll mix the two decks up into one huge deck. So let's see, if it's easy for me to open up the packaging, I'll show you the cards. Here is the book. For your information on what the cards mean. So I've had this one for I think about 3 weeks, and I haven't opened it yet. And I think these are the same back as the Well-Worn Path too. The Well-Worn Path I've had for over a year. So we'll briefly show you a few of the cards. So here is a Sacred Bow, the Holly King, the the Oak King, Sacred Site, and as you see, site is both site that you see and a location site. So, then there's Beltane, Litha, the Fates, Triformis, and say 3 Great Mysteries. And let's see, Elder Staff. So, and then it comes with organza bag that you can put your cards into. I don't know why I said tarot cards. These are oracle cards. Why did I say tarot cards? Because I'm tired, that's why. Okay, now the last thing that I had gotten, I got from the mall, and in there's, for all intents and purposes, it's a pagan store. And they sell crystals and candles and books. No, books? Well, tarot cards, incense and statues and things like that, but not just pagan stuff. They do have some Christian things too, so some Christian iconography and statues as well. But the majority of the things they sell there, I would say, would fall under pagan and Native American things as well. So the first thing it got was this this crystal, and it is, and the lighting is not good at all, so it's not doing this crystal justice. But it is a quartz with pink tourmaline, and they have a card. Well, it says natural pink tourmaline in quartz. So here's the card, and here's what I paid for it. And it says this is found in Brazil. Pink tourmaline attracts love and provides assurance that it is safe to love, assists in sharing physical pleasure, disperses emotional pain and old destructive feelings. And that's mainly what I got this for. I want, my hope is to work with this while I'm working on my while I'm doing my shadow work. So yeah, it's really it's really pretty. Some of them were a much lighter pink. This almost borders on, I don't want to say purple, but definitely a deeper shade of pink. And then the next thing I got was this tourmalated quartz. So here's the black tourmaline here. Sorry. And it's in the rest of the quartz part. And this one was $13.99. There's no sticker on there. $13.99. And they, with all of their stones like these bigger ones, they provide cards with them too. So, which gives you, gives you some information on the stone. There's always where these stones are located, but some of them will have like metaphysical information, like what they can be used for. Some it's just the basic physical information or description of the stones. So that's pretty much my entire haul. So I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and blessed be.